Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of Witches and Wine. This is the show where we talk about witchy stuff and we drink wine. Clink and drink. Clink and drink to the non-drink there. And we'll talk about later why she doesn't
Why
have
our
a drink.
guest is not drinking with us
Yeah,
tonight.
because that's a funny story. I am your hostess with the mostest, Lola Stardust. And before we start our show, I'd like to do our disclaimer. Our show is called Witches and Wine, meaning we drink wine. So sometimes we get a little tipsy, and sometimes people don't like that. So what we suggest to the people who don't like to see us witches be tipsy, there's an X in the corner of your screen, and you can just click on it.
You have magical powers.
You can make us go away.
You can make things disappear on command.
Yes, it's like magic.
It is.
So I'm going to go ahead and turn this over real quick to my husband, my partner in crime, my high priest, my ride or die,
R.O.D.
my best friend, Silent as Stardust. Why don't you tell us about the wine we're drinking this evening?
Well, I would be happy to. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So tonight I have chosen a Syrah from Washington State from Otis Kenyon Vineyards out of Walla Walla. A very dark.
Hold it.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
Here we
Otis
go.
Kenyon. A very, very dark wine, purple to black in color.
Yes.
Present tannins, chewy, and definitely spicy. Gonna serve if you're gonna pair with a nice meal, a pepper steak, a nice roast. Just something that's gonna have some robustness so we can stand up to this wine, because otherwise you're not gonna taste your food against this.
It's dark like our souls.
Yeah.
It's very good. We like the dark, thick, chewy wines.
And price-wise, you're going to be looking at the $30 to $40 a bottle range. So definitely not an inexpensive wine, but not ridiculously expensive. But yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. It's got a little kick.
I got a kick. I got a kick.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you, honey.
You're welcome.
So I'm really excited about our next guest. I know I've got to meet this lovely lady a couple times throughout festivals and online. And what a great artist she is. She's got many, many talents. And I just can't wait to talk to her about all the things that she does and she's affiliated with. Let's welcome to our show, Woodbine. Welcome, Woodbine.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're really excited. So, first of all, you are at the Southern Delta Church of Wicca in Arkansas. What part of Arkansas again?
Lake City, it's near Northeast.
Okay. So Lake City, you're sitting outside. It's a beautiful, hot day in Arkansas. Isn't it always hot in Arkansas?
Not really. It only gets really intensely hot, like what we consider hot in like late July, early August. Right now, this is just the beginning.
So what is your hot? Because your hot might be different than our Northwest hot.
Yes, we're in the Northwest, so it's not that hot.
My hot is 96 degrees outside, but like with an index of 100 humidity.
Okay, yes. No. We hit 85 and we're miserable up here. And we live in one of the hottest parts of Washington State. So.
Yeah, we live in Spokane, Washington, which is a lot hotter than where like the mother church is. They're a lot colder over there.
They got that nice marine air. We ain't got marine air over here.
We're desert. We're like a desert over here.
This is more swampy territory, so you kind of
that southern humidity just scares the snot out of me. I couldn't deal with the summertime in the South.
I went to the South a few years back to visit some friends in Tennessee, and I tell you, it was in May, and so it wasn't super hot, but it was still, the humidity made my hair, every day I was there, it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and I had to just wear it up because it was ridiculous.
As she points out, her hair.
It gets bigger.
It stays this way during the summer, because unless you are pixie cutting it, and I used to shave my hair all the time. Yeah, no, you just need to have it up.
That would be me. I'd probably either shave my head really short or just always wear it up in the South.
Then how does your high priest work? Because that dude's got hair everywhere.
Terry's got so much hair. He must sweat a lot, or he's used to it.
He wears a ponytail.
Yes. Yes, he does.
Or sometimes he lets our high priestesses braid his hair.
Oh, I love that. Oh, yeah. I love that. So speaking of Terry, you are now a first degree priestess.
Congratulations.
At the Southern Delta Church of Wicca. Congratulations. That is
so
awesome. How was that? How do you feel? How was that?
Well, of course, as rules, I can't say anything to people who have been through that.
Don't talk about the feeling,
not
the ritual.
I wanted to explain that to our viewers who might not understand what that means. Afterwards, I always tell people when you do high spiritual work, you're gonna feel like you just did like a few rounds with Mike Tyson in the ring. Yeah. And that has changed for me. But after you get that rest you need, you feel at peace. At least for me, you feel that at peace.
Yeah. It's a lot of spiritual energy, and it is the reason why they call it mysteries and that we don't talk about it is because, well, there's several reasons. It's the secrets, but also you really can't put it into words until someone has experienced it.
And it's individualized to each person.
Yeah.
What my elevations were like were going to be different than Lola's. It's going to be different than yours.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make them more valuable or less. It just makes it unique to that person.
And that's how it should be. So, yeah. So how did you come to the Southern Delta Church of Wicca? How did you meet that amazing gang over there? Because we love them so much.
So the reason why I'm laughing, it's actually a really cute story.
Oh, excellent.
So, I met them at a bowling alley. Okay, hear me out first.
Yeah.
Here in where we are, we have a local bowling alley called Hijinks. And they have this like day where all the churches can come bowling with each other, like different faiths can just come bowl.
Oh, that's like, awesome.
And I was brought by somebody else to meet them. And I didn't know who I was meeting. All I knew that it was a church. They said it was a different kind of church. And I was like, you know what? I can handle it. And then I met Terry outside smoking a cigarette. And he just looks me up and down. I've never met this man in my entire life. Yeah. He goes, "You're part Cajun, aren't you?" And I was like, how did this man know my heritage? I've never met this man a day in my life. Teach me ways. And my first ritual, I was brought here again by said person. It was an Astar ritual, and I had the Unicorn Queen and Lord Pan as the first gods I ever got to see invoke.
Oh, cool.
And that ever since then, I've never left. I've been here now going on 2 years. I've been here 2 years going on my third.
Awesome.
Very cool.
So how do you mind if I ask, Woodbine, how old are you?
I am 23, turning 24 in July.
Okay.
So how long have you been in the craft? What brought you to the craft? What's your story?
Is it what you just told us?
Kinda.
Yeah.
So I had a very odd raising mixtured with a kind of Cajun folk magic.
Okay.
Nice. A very spiritual. It wasn't considered magic. It was just seen as natural as breathing. That is a lot of what that side of my family taught me, and I didn't realize what they were teaching me until I came here.
Was it a little in the hoodoo style? Loosely?
I would say very loosely.
Okay.
Loosely, okay.
Because I know how to cleanse a house in a very hoodoo style, just passed down from my aunt. And even though that I personally practice now Druidry mixed with Wicca, I would still cleanse my house like that every single day. Now my mom's side kind of did spiritual, but they were very more Christianized. So that like mixture was very unique in ways.
Yeah.
So coming here, it felt home already, but I had more to learn.
Yeah.
We always do.
We always do.
And I felt like it's more structured than what I was raised with. And that's very common that I've seen in people who grow up in families like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you've always been exposed to an alternative type of religion,
yes,
but just didn't quite know what
Yeah.
it was, what you were looking for? What did you find those answers when you came and you met Terry and got involved with their church?
Definitely. It felt like I finally came home.
Yes.
I didn't want to leave. I wanted to help in any way I could.
Yeah.
And wanted, just kind of be like a sponge. Let me learn. Let me learn
Yes.
everywhere.
Yes. And that is the most common answer when witches find their niche. When witches find their niches, it's like coming home. It is such an amazing feeling, and I love it. I love hearing it over and over and over because it just proves that it affirms what we have always been doing is finding home, finding your family, finding your spiritual family.
So can I ask, which deities do you like to work with, you personally?
So I have 6 deities.
Oh, so you're active.
Yeah.
Yes, I follow the Maiden Mother Crone, Roe Father Sage way of doing it. Though that's just how I clicked with it
Yeah.
personally. But my matron is Breed,
Nice.
Okay.
and my patron is Lou.
Oh yes, we've talked about that. Yes.
Definitely I work a lot with Hermes. He's
Mhm.
one of them. I work with Danu,
Yeah.
and I work with Ogma. And I'm not ready for the crone phase, but when I am, I know she's just kind of waiting off in the
Yeah.
Over
Yeah.
yonder.
Over yonder.
over yonder.
Yeah.
And that is the Morgan, but I am not ready for her. But when I am, I know she's.
Has she been kind of waiting and calling you?
Not. She only comes around when I'm kind of out of answers, and like when you've asked all your gods for help and you don't know what to do anymore, and you go to the elderly crone or grandma figure to finally get some advice that you might just, need to hear the truth, and that's what she's looking for right now.
Yep.
Oh my God, yes, those crone-like dark goddesses. They don't mince words. They just tell it like it is, and you do got to be ready for it. And if you're not ready for it, that's totally okay, right?
Yeah, because it just affirms that, you know what, you're not ready for that lesson yet. You have other things to experience before you're ready to go down that road.
Yep.
And I think a lot of it is because of my age,
Mm-hmm.
because I have so much to experience before I can truly embody that. But she's there if I, just really need that advice.
Yes, absolutely. The grandmother, the wise grandma. Well, for me personally, the crone state can be in all of us no matter what age. So I like to keep that into consideration because, I'm, age-wise, chronologically, I'm not approaching cronehood. There's the fourth face of the goddess, which I like, and that's the queen stage. And I feel like I'm in that because I'm still mother. I still have children at home, but I'm not fertile, right? I'm not giving birth. I'm not at that most fertile time. So I don't consider myself mother, but I'm not crone yet. So I always say there's the queen stage. But I find my maiden stage too. I like to tap into my maiden stage. I think it's important for us all to tap into all of that no matter what age we are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, because right now, because of my age at 23, I'm right at that maiden going on to not even touching on mother yet. I'm still at the very.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
your
baby thing.
your body is probably mother ready, but you're just not mother ready.
No, don't take me yet. Don't take me yet.
Exactly. And that's why it's to each individual.
Yep.
It's their personal experience. But for a long time I used to think, well, I can't relate to the maiden aspect because I'm 49, I'm or whatever, late 40s. And it was a few years ago at Spring Mysteries when Wendy Rule was performing, and not to give away Spring Mysteries too much to people, but there was a song that she sang, and it had to do with the maiden and that freedom and that youth. And something about that line, sorry, honey, it's okay. Our son's trying to squeeze by. Something about that feeling and that line brought tears to my eyes, because there's still that young girl in me. There's still that youth in me. And so that actually taught me that I can get in touch with that and celebrate that. And same with the oh my gosh, with the men, with the phases of the men.
Yes, row father stage.
Yes, thank you.
I'm in the middle of the father stage.
Yes.
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 I still have roguelike behavior, and then I also have sometimes Lola often refers to me as the youngest old man she's ever met.
Oh my God, he can be such a little old man, and he's younger than me. Like, he's 7 years younger than me. Oh, not a lot.
So actually, how I work with them is like, because yes, right now my key ones are Breed and Hermes. They're the young, mainly over the youthful witches, shall we say. But if I need mama or dad advice, or grandpa or grandma advice, I can tap into that energy and be like, help.
Yep. And he works with Pan.
Pan is my patron deity.
Pan is his patron.
But the god I work most with now is Hestia, because I'm a caregiver.
Yes.
And I want to make sure everyone's happy, comfortable, taken care of, at peace.
Yeah.
And when I first started working in the craft, I was pan. But as I've been more seasoned, I'll put it the nice term, more seasoned, I'm really finding that the deity I work with most is Hestia.
Yeah. And that's what I love about our craft, is that gender doesn't matter.
Nope.
Energy, it's what you relate to, and to me that is so refreshing, right? To just have that.
Well, actually, talking about identity, I identify as androgynous a lot, because yes, I am full-on woman, but that does not determine how I present myself to you.
No.
And it's just a relief to be in a community that supports that and lets you express yourself however you feel that day.
Yep, exactly. And that's what's so awesome about our beliefs and our religion, is that we are all about who you are. We got a new kitty.
We've gotten a new kitten since our previous episode, and
my face, you little poop.
She can be a little shiza.
She's a little poop. Am I bleeding?
You are not bleeding.
She got me.
Yeah,
she went for my hair or my glasses. She does that. Anyway, only here on Witches and Wine will our familiar go, Anyway.
She's our familiar in training.
Familiar in training. She's our fit. So I want to talk about your work with the church, with the Southern Delta Church of Wicca. You run a group called Oasis
Pagan and Witch Support Group. It is the first ever youth outreach in Arkansas, period, on a college campus that is an open youth group sponsored by Southern Delta for people who want to learn the craft.
And what school is that with?
Arkansas State University.
Okay.
And that's where you go?
Yes, I graduate next year.
Oh, that's awesome. And what are you studying? What are you studying there?
I'm graduating with 4 different degrees. So which one do you want?
Go tell us all of them.
Associates in Arts, already have that. I just completed my certification in Swift coding, which is for Apple products.
Yep.
Minor in studio arts, and a bachelor's in graphic design.
Okay.
Wow. No wonder. I can't remember where it was, but you were. I can't remember. It was one of our online things, and Brenna Grace, the maiden of the Aquarian Tabernacle Church, she was talking about she wants to utilize all your talents and all your gifts, because she had heard all the things that you are good at. She's like, oh my gosh, where have you been? Where have you been?
She actually asked me that, because when I talked to her, I told her everything I did here. She's like, where's Terry been hiding you?
Yes, that's what it was. Where's Terry been hiding you?
Yep.
Exactly. So this group that you are part of now, do you organize it? Are you what is your title? What do you what's your
I am the founder, the
Oh, wow.
president. I've been president going on 2 years. Because I take kind of like the approach most leaders do. If you want the leader position, you have to take it from me.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good lesson for a newly first degree. Either you've already got that in you or Terry has taught you that, but that's a really good lesson. If you want it, go grab it and make it happen.
Because I've told many of my kids who wanted to, take positions, and I'm more than happy to train them and teach them. Because as leaders, we all know we're not always going to be here.
Mm-hmm.
We have to look for the next person coming up. But to be the, I guess, because I am dubbed Mama Woodbine and the Fairy Witch Mother. If you want my title, you have to prove to me that you can earn it.
Yeah, yeah.
And that
So-
is not an easy task.
How did this group start? What made you start this group? What was your inspiration for it?
So, okay, that's kind of also a funny story.
We love these stories.
You learn with me. I never do anything on purpose. It just happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my thing. I never, if it's something big that I do, I usually just started because I felt like it that day.
That's awesome.
Well, it had been, you have to understand, this group has been in the talk for 20 years at this church and no one's done it.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
20 years. And I heard about it from someone who had been talking on and on about doing it. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to take that and actually do it. And of course, Terry was like, sure, you can, let's see what you do. Because again, that so many people have come through and tried and didn't get this far. So when I actually made it happen with my 4 original council members, this man basically did backflips.
I bet.
And how big a group is it now?
Let's see, we have about 5 different churches that support us and we sponsor them and kind of share people with them. We have about 80 members in total.
Holy cow.
Wow.
We just had a gathering since COVID and we had 4 different pagan friendly or pagan communities all at one spot, just sharing and learning from each other.
So
Are
it's
you-
pretty extensive.
So being in the South, Kitty,
I got it.
you gotta babysit the kitty. She just wants mama's attention. She always wants my attention, like my kids when I'm doing something. So being in the South, and this is what I've always found so impressive with Terry, because his history of making the pagan religion like known in the South and marching for it and fighting for it. I know so many witches in the South. For you, is this something that, do you still run into a lot of backlash or resistance, or is it more accepting? How is it? Because we're up in the Northwest, so we don't know.
So, okay, it's kind of in a weird area. Like, we're getting more people to accept us, but we still get backlash.
Mhm.
And I've gone toe to toe with other youth priests. And I refuse to back down to them or back down to people who try to come toward our group.
Yeah.
Now, is it more of the Southern Baptist folk that are the ones the most resistant to you?
No?
No.
So,
No, and I won't name any church.
No,
No,
no.
we're not asking for churches. We would never ask you to out someone like that.
It's very intense brimstone and fire religion here.
Okay.
It's not the Baptist. They're actually more extreme than the Baptist if you meet them. Those are the ones that we have the most issues with. They're just usually just called First of Christ people.
Yeah.
And they're more aggressive.
Okay.
But I've actually gone onto their church with everything I've done and just went to go talk to their youth leader. Like, because I don't care. Like, that is my message. I'm like, I can step on your territory because this is the part of the goddess's world.
Yes.
I'm done with us fighting. And that's always been my message. You guys have been at each other's teeth all these years. We could do so much more for our people.
Working together.
And if you are, and I've just straight up told them, if you are a person of faith, like you say you are to your people, you would hear me and understand I'm not here to take your children. I'm here
Yeah.
to work with you so we can make this community stronger.
Yes. And that is really impressive because of your age. And I don't want to be ageist or anything, but you should be proud because of your age, and you are making a step, because this is stuff that I never would have done at a young age or in my 20s. I would have been afraid to do that. As I've gotten older now, I don't have a problem, standing up for what I believe in. But I think it's great that you're doing that, and kudos to you for like representing, like that's
Well,
amazing.
And it's awesome that you recognize it, that everyone has if they're on a spiritual path, you support that path. We don't want to downplay other people's faiths,
No.
because you know what? If we're downplaying them, then they have every right to downplay ours.
Exactly. And go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
please. No,
You-
you're our guest.
you take
Please.
over.
Yes.
So that is one of the messages I've been working on with them, to try to get to understand that we're not the pagans that their elders have painted us to be, and we're not the things that many people think we are in the South. And sometimes we just have kids, and I don't think it's their fault. I really don't. I think it's just with the way they've been raised.
Mm-hmm.
That they are scared of us. But the thing I've taught my people to do, just be nice to them, because they can't. What are they gonna do if you're nice to them?
Right.
We're all humans first.
Well, I always have this thing: kill them with kindness.
Exactly.
That catches people off guard.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to play into the role that they expect you to, that's really easy to do. But if you show them that, hey, I love you and I welcome you,
Yep.
then that catches them off guard, right?
So the thing I do, and I think it makes them kind of angry at me, and yes, I say angry because I actually invite all the Christian youth outreaches to our sabbats and our festivals.
Oh, nice.
I always tell them when we're doing it, if they want to come on by and hang out, they're more than welcome to. And I
Yeah.
can see it when I do it, they don't know how to initially react.
Mm-hmm.
But
How many responded to that?
no, usually they ignore me.
Have you had any show up?
Not yet.
No, but I'm going to keep trying and keep on holding my arms out for them.
Very good.
You're building bridges.
Exactly. And that's been one of the main goals of Oasis, because I know we're outnumbered in the Bible Belt.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're outnumbered everywhere we go. We are still a very small faith.
Yes.
We're
Even
growing.
though we're growing, we're still a very small faith.
So while I'm trying to grab up all the pagan churches that'll support us, I'm also trying to build those bridges so we can walk out proudly in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that doesn't Southern Delta Church, they reach out to everybody, right? And Terry has made that they're one of the main staples there, right?
Don't they either run a food bank or donate heavily to a local food bank?
So what we do have kind of a food pantry that anyone, if you're hungry, can come get it. But we actually have 2 community gardens that we feed low-income homes from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Terry mentioning that, but when we had him on.
Yeah.
Yes, now we have 2. And we also have the food pantry. So it's just like a non-perishable food. So if you just want something, just grab it and it's okay. And we also do highway cleanup. There's always something going on here.
Yep.
And I love that your church is
Church goals.
Church goals. # church goals.
Yep.
And I think that's what I've been trying to drive into with the Oasis members, is because we don't all come from the same faith. And I try to point that out to people who want to join Oasis, because one of my people who's been my right-hand person for all this time is agnostic.
Yeah. Okay.
But
yeah.
They like us for who we are and the energy that they feel welcome in, and that we don't pressure them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you can read our books and have fun.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. But it's kind of the same thing that Reverend Don Lewis from the Corellian tradition. The reason why he dresses up so nice and he presents himself is because he wants to show the world, not just the pagan community, but all communities, that we are respectable people and we reach out our arms and our hands to those who are of all faiths or no faith, and so that's so important.
I guess how I present myself, Terry jokes that I'm just a pit bull, a bulldog incarnate into a person because I
Yeah.
do so much and I'm unafraid of people and I'll stand toe to toe with them. And
That's
I explain it to my people, like my children, who they're not all my children, like not in age wise, but they are my children in spirit wise.
Yes.
I tell them it's because if we show we're scared, we prove that their assumptions about us have always been right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And when your church goes out in the community and does highway cleanup, or when we do food donations, or we do those things, we are showing the public that we are just like everyone else of faith. We want a better world. We want better communities. We want and the only way to do this is to make ourselves known and be out there. And I love that you are part of that and part of that church and doing that for youth and younger people.
Well, and I try to explain this to people who don't have it and want to. It's such an important time in college age for children to have options of where they want to go in life, and not just in a career wise, but spirituality.
Yes, it's really important, and kudos to you for doing that. I want to talk about your artwork. I have seen your artwork. You have, and I probably haven't seen all of it, but just what you have shown me. And let me tell you, I am completely jealous of people that are such great artists like you. How long have you been doing this? Since you can remember? How long have you been doing your art?
I've been drawing since I could pick up a pencil.
Yeah. And do you have a place that you like, a website or
Yes, I do.
You do? What is your website?
I will send it to you after this so you
Yeah,
can.
we'll put it in
Well,
the.
well, when this post is shown to the public, if you want to join us, you can actually put it in the chat and have people.
Because we do live premieres
Yeah,
on
okay.
Thursday. So yeah. So and then just email me the website too so I can put it in our description. But go ahead and say what the website is. So
So it's just called Woodbine Designs or Designed by Woodbine. And it's basically a place of a hosh posh of not only the traditional art I can do, but the spiritual artwork I do. Because the first thing I tell people I am is an art witch. And that is who I've always been. That is my main form of magic.
yeah.
And I love doing magical art forms of any kind.
Yeah. Do you so and forgive me if my ignorance, because I am not an artist. I am more of the written word. I write. Um, but I can't draw to save my life. It's stick people, and even my stick people have been mistaken for like runes. Oh, is that runes? No, that's my stick people, but okay. Um, but do you get inspired? Like, do you go into a place where the goddess or the gods inspire you?
Like you're channeling
Like
deities.
channeling? Do you do that kind of art?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Can you tell us about that process and how that works?
So, okay, my matron is Breed. If you know anything about Breed, she is one of the matrons of arts in Celtic mythology.
Mm-hmm.
And my patron Lou is too. If you meet Hermes, he's very all for creative expression.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is I set up a kind of a space, not here, but kind of a sacred space to do artwork with Breed, so she can help me understand what I'm picking up and also protect me.
Nice.
Because some gods' energy is very intense. So
Yeah.
if someone asks me, I'll use an example of one I did. I did one for Loki recently, and Loki's very the persona that the person wanted is his more chaotic rogue state.
Yeah.
That is a lot to handle in a very muse way in channeling.
Yeah.
So Breed is there to help me not to get too overwhelmed, but to get enough information that I can do what I'm supposed to do. Other deities, they'll stay with me until I'm finished and then leave because I finished what they wanted.
Yeah.
You've done the work that they requested.
Yeah.
Some are very more demanding than others, and others are like, listen, you actually drew me as a human. That's all I wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
And
that's so awesome. And I know that I can't wait to look at your artwork. I've seen some of the artwork that you did. You were inspired during Spring Mysteries. I think we were in the same clan house. Yeah. And we shared our works and our poetry and our all that stuff. And oh my God, even though I can't draw, I'm an what do you call me? Artsy fartsy?
Yeah.
I'm artsy fartsy. I am totally artsy fartsy. I love poetry. I love artwork. I love music. I love all the stuff, singing, dancing, painting. I think it's great. So I can't wait to share your website with people because I like to promote pagan artists. And also let me know if you ever have anything new coming up because I do
so I just did a massive painting. I'm talking massive, 26 by 34 size canvas painting.
So just a little over 2 feet by almost 3 feet.
Wow.
Will you turn the porch light on, please? Will you please?
Yeah, it's getting darker there.
Yeah, we can see the sunset.
Okay, thank you. I love you, Jeremy. I refuse to move, so I'm asking one of our people.
You're good.
Help. Actually, and I did it off the journey of femininity, and it's off of Made in Mother Chrome, using other art pieces with that made it. And the reason why I called it Journey of Femininity is because, most people who identify as a woman were not born woman.
Yeah.
But their connection to the goddess is just as valid as those as us who were born as women.
Yeah.
So that's why I called it the Journey of Femininity, is because that energy that they connected to is what they are. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I wanted to be inclusive to all those.
Absolutely. That's what I love about our craft. We talked about that earlier, is that, and we evolve. I mean, if you look at the craft a long time ago, there was some misogyny. There was, and it seems to like go back and forth because it's like it goes, oh, there's the god, and then there's like, oh, it's all goddess worship, and then the god worship kind of got left behind.
So actually, one of the things I get asked about a lot and these are like 18, 19-year-olds, and it kind of comes and goes either way, but the most questions I get asked is about the female part, and by young women, like they're unsure if they should embrace all this wild, crazy pagan woman. I was like, listen, that is for some of us. That is not for everyone. There are as many goddess forms you can look up to. And if you're not comfortable and your identity is more on the masculinity side, honey, there's plenty to choose from, and it's okay to change as you grow.
Yeah.
Well, our deities do change because as we grow, there's energies and concepts that they represent that are necessary at that time, but we evolve out at times and grow and learn other things.
The gods evolve with us.
Yep.
They have to.
Exactly. And that's what I talk about with them, is that you're no longer, and I hate using the word stuck, but if you don't want to be with only one god, as many people have been raised with, you don't have to be. You can go wherever you want. And I think a lot of that with young people, it kind of scares them at first because they're not used to that they're not used to getting a choice in the matter.
Exactly. And oh, go ahead.
And my thing is, what I teach them is the freedom. Accept who you are, and that is where we'll begin.
That's amazing. And I love, because I didn't I've always known I was a witch. Well, no, I didn't. I knew I was something different, but I didn't identify as a witch till later in life. So I always look at people in their teens and 20s that are already claiming it, and I'm like, I get a little like, oh, I wish I would have done that, but my path was different. I had to do things in my teens and 20s to bring me to where I'm at later in life.
And there's nothing wrong with that, because especially as an artist, I have other artists now asking me how to do occult art because they know I am basically the college witch.
Yep.
I am the grand poobah.
Yep.
But when they find me in the studio, they'll walk up to me and ask me, is this right for this? And I'll just answer them yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell, but I always demand that they at least look up what it means and understand what they're using. Because one of the things I do not like with artists who are not witchy or whatever you may claim is when you use our symbols and don't use them correctly because you don't know what energy you're putting into that canvas or muse. And those art pieces have energy that can reach out to people, and you could be hurting a viewer without knowing it.
Yep.
And at the art witch, I'm like, no, you shall learn.
That is really a good thing to bring up, because I've noticed, I do the entertainment. I kind of do the entertainment and arts reporting for Pagan Information Network on TikTok.
Yeah.
And so I do every night. I'm researching new things in different avenues, and when I get to the art part, right, I have come across some amazing artists, but they're using pagan imagery and witchy imagery, but they're not pagan and they're not witches. They use it as a almost try to be edgy, right? And so I kind of stay, I mean, and their art is great, but I kind of stay away from that because I'm like, I think you're just using the pentagram in your art to be a rebel, and you don't understand what the pentagram is.
Well, but then we also see, go ahead.
So an example I like to use for this girl was making a palmistry little bandana, like from stamps. And I taught her what each line meant.
Yeah.
She had read about it, and she was trying her hardest to talk about it, even though she wasn't pagan, but she was interested in that. And those kinds of people, I'll sit down and help them. But if I think you're just doing for shock and awe, I don't allow you my time.
Yep.
There's a very appealing aesthetic to witch symbols and witch graphics to those that maybe don't understand it,
They
but
don't know what they're looking at.
But they like it.
Yep.
If that introduces them to the pagan and the witchy ways, that's awesome, but it's good to have people around to educate them.
Well, I look at it as, I don't know if you've seen it, but Dua Lipa's music video.
Yes, and actually, what we talk about a lot with our youngers, because at that age group, you're very wanting to express yourself, but I have to draw boundaries with a lot of time with people because I don't want it mixing into someone else's TED Talk point.
Yeah.
Because like with the LGBT, I love them.
Yeah.
But sometimes when they get too enwrapped into that identity, it takes away from just the spirit is.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and like he was saying, there's a Dua Lipa video called Levitation where the Hecate symbol is throughout there. The Wheel of Hecate. Yeah. And it's really cool.
Yep.
Right? But I often wonder, do they know what they're doing?
Was this intentional, or was it did they like the way it looks?
Did they just like the way it
without
looked?
knowing what it represents?
Are they hopping on the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina? They moved over.
Witches are pop culture now.
Pop culture. Witches are in pop culture right now.
So one of the most personal things I don't like, and I'll share that here, is as part Cajun and being raised around it, I know things about the culture that people who weren't raised in it can't understand unless they're invited in.
Yeah.
And one of the most angriest I've ever been is someone who assumes I practice something of that because they found out part of my heritage. And I was like, no, just, yes, I honor my ancestors, but that is not my personal path. And it's very rude of you to assume where practitioners are from or been raised is that that's what we practice.
And that's why I asked about the hoodoo thing earlier, is, you know, because obviously when someone hears Cajun, they're thinking the hoodoo, and I was like, that's why. Is it?
And it's not ignorance.
No.
It's just what we know.
I don't mind if people ask.
Yeah.
But I don't like it when people assume it and put me on that label. There's a difference.
And that's exactly why I asked, because I wasn't assuming, being Cajun, that you had hoodoo practices. It was more is that the route you went, or is it, or where you came from, or is it just ancillary to where you're at now?
Yeah.
And right now I use tidbits of it, but I don't know enough about it to ever fully do it.
Yeah.
And I'll be perfectly honest, I am absolutely fascinated by hoodoo, voodoo, and all that stuff. I am just like, I want to go experience one of these rituals. I want to go see a practitioner. I want to immerse myself in it, but I don't know anyone.
He wants to ride the Loa.
Yeah, I want to be ridden by the Loa.
Ridden the Loa, yeah.
I want to be ridden by a Loa. I want to see what it's like.
See, I didn't even say it right.
And, you know, and it just absolutely fascinates me, but I don't have anyone locally where I can reach out to say, hey.
Not here in the Pacific Northwest. I mean, if you talk about, yes, there are people that practice that, but I would feel more comfortable knowing someone from that background or that regional or whatever.
In the Caribbean, down in the Bayou, Louisiana area.
Yeah. Okay. So with those communities, I explain to people they don't like outsiders.
No.
Oh, I know.
And who literally, like me, I would have to ask my elders of my family to even take me home to be accepted, because without them,
well, they're a secret society just like we are. It is a secretive craft. It is an initiatory path, and I respect that.
They're mystery religions. They all fall under that mystery. Well, occult. The occult means hidden.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that I'm not fascinated by it, and I read every book I can on it. I research all I can. I ask everyone that has been associated with it in any way, shape, or form, what can you share? Let me know.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, because you're younger and we're old and we're out of we're old. We're like, you know, technology. You know, I'm a child of the 80s. You know, I like technology, all this stuff. I'm learning. Okay, so but I want to ask you, because you're younger, you're more in tune with this generation. Do you have any views on cultural appropriation?
Okay, so I'm actually going to the vestry for this one, because that's a whole TED talk. That's a whole TED talk.
From the audience, it's a one-on-one.
It's such a big thing with
a lot of our younger witches are being more aware of it.
You're aware of it than we are. We're old fogies, honey. We need to know.
So, okay, I actually had this question from one of my own children. Sorry.
She's in the bathroom.
Okay.
And we're walking. They
can say hi. They can say hi to witches and wine.
Hello, audience.
Nope.
Okay.
If you haven't told her, I'm definitely Hermes child, as I can move very fast through every door. And just like, nope, you can't catch me. You can't catch me. And gone. Anyways, so actually one of my own students asked me this not too long ago. And here's how I explained it, and this is just a personal opinion. I feel as if the craft itself, because when we went into hiding for so long, and there's been so much lost due to so many different things, especially the Crusades, the witch trials.
Yeah.
And even recently, before we got our rights in 1986 to be a religion, and we're still fighting to even gain back what we had and to keep what we have.
Right.
So I don't think we'll ever be to a point where anything will ever be segregated into its own area. And what are you going to tell a child who's always used maybe something that is, yes, of a certain culture, but that's all they know for their magic? Are you going to make them go out and look for a substitute? And what if that spell relies heavily on that, or that magic relies heavily on that? They're not, what if they don't know how to work the energy of this new plant?
Right?
So I feel like, yes, you should always recognize where it comes from.
Yep.
But I personally don't see if, as long as you recognize and say, yes, this is from the First Nation people or the first people of this nation, and this is where my family got it from, and recognize that it's not yours, it is okay. And that's my personal opinion. And I think a lot of the reason why our generation is so fascinated by it is because we know the wrongs and we're tired of more of the maybe Cowan society that want to sweep it under the rug and continue that cycle. Definitely this age group is very much vigilante. No, let's burn it down.
Yeah.
And then we'll sort it out after that.
I
And
I appreciate you saying that, because I've talked to people who are very much about, we don't want to cultural appropriate anything, and so they do things a certain way. I've talked to people who are like, well, I believe this. For me personally, the gods know when you honor them, and if you're not honoring where they came from or where that belief came from, they know, right? I feel they know you're not honoring it. They know that you're just hopping on it to just be trendy or whatever.
yes.
It's because it's your personal relationship with your gods. But I also, and this is my opinion, and anyone that, when we premiere this, people may have different opinions, and that's what's great. We love this show because we welcome it all. But for me, I feel like the gods don't see color, they don't see culture, they don't see status. They just speak through us because they know that we'll get it there. We'll get it out there the way that they want. We're spreading that word.
Their message.
Their message.
Well, it's a difference. Go ahead.
And I know I'll end on, like I said, our stuff has been so combined all these years because, I mean, for a long time, witches just had to gather what they had and go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just go. So how are we supposed to? Yes, now we're more allowed to relax now, but we're just now getting to a point where we can sort things out, and it's taken tons of research just to get where we are.
Well, we don't have to hide 5 miles into a forest to work our practice anymore.
Exactly.
And like I've always said, the majority of our traditions have been oral.
Yep.
Yes.
Because the written word got you burned.
Yeah. So they hid it. So they just passed it on orally. So there is room for interpretation. But as long as you, like you said, as long as you honor where it comes from, and if you can educate people on that and say, look,
Yes.
this is something I found fascinating from this tribe, and they did things this way, and I would like to work that into our circle. Let's learn about this tribe, what we can. Let's honor them, and let's really work hard to make sure we're not making fools out of them. Well, it's important.
Well, I look at it as the difference of, are you living witch or are you playing witch?
Exactly. And I think that's a good note to end on with that subject. But if you guys really want to tap into the oncoming generation, I've always told people this generation, basically, I've said kind of, this is why the goddess religion is growing. Because it's one of the few religions I feel like can handle the generation that wants change, that is hungry for change finally. And we are a religion of change, and therefore we offer that to them.
Yeah.
We're not a status quo.
Exactly. And this.
So, go ahead. No, please finish your thought.
And this generation is very against the status quo.
Yeah. 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 Going to do that one. So we're gonna wrap up here, but I'd like to share a fun story. So, as you've noticed, we have been drinking our wine, and Woodbine is, I think, drinking water, right?
Well,
Oh, I'm drinking coffee. I'm
Coffee.
drinking
an ice, a canned coffee beverage.
Yes.
it's a
So,
Monster energy drink.
so before we got into the room to interview and whatnot, she had told me, she's like, well, I'm not going to be drinking, and I said, no, that's fine if you don't want to drink. And she says, and I'm going to tell you why. So my husband,
I'll just raise my hand now.
so Woodbine, would you tell us the experience you had with my husband and Witches and Wine during Spring Mysteries?
By the way, this was off recording, on camera, but off recording time.
Yeah, we weren't recording.
Yeah.
This after hours kind of thing.
So I don't know how it all went down, but we got into a conversation of who were tequila people.
Yes, you were my tequila girl. I remember this.
Yes.
That was
Yes,
the last
and
thing I remember saying before I got white girl drunk.
Yes, he did.
I was like, I got a bottle of tequila right here because for simp. And we were like, let's just do a friend shot. Let's just do a hooray for simp shot. And one shot turned into 3. And next thing I know, I was sore in the morning. And I was like, never again.
Yeah.
Don't get drunk with a pan priest. Don't do it. Don't.
Yeah.
Oh, wait till we get to person. Next time I see you in person, I'll have a bottle of tequila just for me and you.
Actually, I wanted to share you some little fun quip about that. That makes it even more fun. Pan is always the first god to greet me at simp. So I was really upsetty about the whole thing, thinking Pan wasn't going to greet me first this year. And one of his priests like, you want to do shots? And I'm like, okay, let's do it. So definitely, I want to make that a yearly tradition.
Oh, we have created so many yearly traditions.
We have created monsters across the board that
gosh.
And we have all these little inside jokes with so many different people in the community that we can just say a couple words and it's like, don't.
Which is a
just giggle.
You want to say hi?
Oh.
So this is actually my vice president right here. She just got off work.
Raise the camera up.
Raise the camera.
We can't see her face.
Hi.
Hello, we can see your neck and your chest,
but
we can't.
Neck and your chest.
Can you see it?
Go.
She's got a face. Oh my god.
There's a face.
Yes, this is Witches and Wine.
Well, I asked what we were seeing.
Oh, we were telling the fun story about simp. You're free to go. You don't have to.
You're free to go. Well, thank you. So yes, lesson learned: when you hang out with the Witches and Wine, sometimes you wake up the next morning and ibuprofen is a necessity.
Glasses of water.
And lots of water.
Where we, after that Spring Mysteries pre-funk, as well as call it, we had lots of comments the next day about how many people were hungover and were complaining about it, but they loved every minute of it until that next morning.
Exactly. No, I was one of those people. I'm like, never again. Never, not until next year.
Yeah.
Well, we're always going to be here for Spring Mysteries, and in person, it's going to be off the hook. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
We have the best get-togethers. Well, okay. I'm sure others do too, but you want to hang with the Witches and Wine crowd. So, oh my gosh, Woodbine, thank you so much. You are like, I know a whole lot about you.
We were honestly not sure how it was going to go because we've only interacted with you a handful of times, so we didn't have the background with you that we do with a lot of our other guests.
You are so on it. You're with it. You know your shit. And why wouldn't you? You are part of Terry's crew, and Terry and Ivy. Terry and Ivy, they're amazing.
And they know their shit.
They know their shit. They've been doing this.
I tell people you don't iron core through Southern Delta without knowing your stuff.
Yeah.
Right? No, you have been an amazing guest. Thank you so much for joining us. So, to our viewers, if you want to know more about us, or you would like to be on our show,
or you know something that would be interesting for our show as a subject where You may not want to talk about it, but you want us to explore it. We're more than happy to go down that rabbit hole.
So you can always email us at
crossroadscoven@gmail.com.
what was that again?
That was crossroadscoven@gmail.com.
Thank you so much for joining us. And everyone, remember, please be so kind to one another. And oh crap, not that. Walk with the goddess. And until next time, blessed be.
B.
And clink and drink.
And clink and drink. Have a great night, everyone. And thank you, Woodbine.
Thank you. Have a good night.